Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, we're going to go over the Wilson racket line and tell you what it's all about, who it's meant for, and who's going to help me with it. Stay tuned. All right, coffee sponsor of today, is my man, Max Ortiz. Max, right? Good job with the channel. Keep up the good work. Keep going fast and furious on the daily. Like, oh, cool, man. Thank you, Max, for hooking up to Joe. If you want to be my coffee sponsor of the day, network is buymeacoffee.com/tennis spin. You want to just hook up the channel? Super thanks is the way. You can contribute as much or as little as you like with the link below. All right? Guys, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you. All right, so Ethiopian Supernatural, guys. I guess Pete, actually listened to my complaining and brews it up for me now. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the Wilson line of rackets and who they're meant for, what's the stiffest, what's the softest. Who better than to do it with me than Mr. Wilson, Switzerland, Mr. Rogers himself, Coach Rob. Coach Rob.
Thanks for the introduction.
Thanks for joining me.
Sure.
So what better than Mr. Wilson himself to go over the Wilson line with me? So let's actually start with the softest. Should we go with the softest,
Sure.
most flexible line in the Wilson family? And we have your racket.
Yes.
Pro Staff 97.
Yes.
So this line is the most flexible of the whole line. We can say that 97 is what kind of racket?
Player's racket.
Player stick.
And when we talk about that, it's meant to be for somebody with a full swing that can generate their own power out of their stroke.
Okay, just like yourself.
Yes.
Now let's not get too confused. There are 6 variations of the Pro Staff. There's a 97 Light, there's a 97 Ultra Light, there's a Pro Staff 100, there's a Pro Staff X. Okay, so there's many variations. So the generalization from Wilson is that the Pro Staff line is the most flexible, is the most professional line in their line of rackets. Okay, so what are we missing in this line right now?
Well,
we're missing Roger.
We're missing Roger.
We got version 13 still. That's all that we have and can get currently. There will be a Roger racket coming. I don't know if it's going to be this color or if it's going to be black. He will be playing tournaments for his, pleasure, his foundation, and doing what I call shows of tennis. And I don't know if he'll actually be willing to do that, but I would think that he would be since it doesn't count anymore. Right? So let's see this year when it comes out, if it's going to be black or if it's going to be, what color do you say that is?
Depends on the light. Sometimes it's a little goldish. Sometimes it's a little
platinum,
copper.
I could say milk chocolate.
You could throw that in there.
I could say brown.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, but
just when you want to change the color, just tilt it differently in the light.
Shine a light on it. Put your phone on it, and it'll It'll decode something for you. Maybe you'll win a Roger racket out of it or something. Okay, so the next line up is blade. So this is still in that same kind of category, but Wilson deems this particular line as still flexible, but the second most flexible line in the racket.
Right.
Who do you sell those to?
Players, a lot of players that are using this. You watch it on TV, you see a lot of the pros are using, whether it be the new blade or an older blade. So college players, players out of college, some good high school players,
Yep.
tournament level players.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think this is the number one racket for college players and possibly for pro players, because you see this racket all over the place.
Right.
So what type of player do you need to be?
A player. You need to be
Player.
You need to be good.
But we got a 104.
And when we talk about that, you need to be able to hit it in the sweet spot. Right? Like, you look at players, they're usually, if you let them actually just wear a string out, they're going to have a wear pattern in the middle. It's not going to be down here. It's not going to be over here. It's not going to be up here.
Right.
They're going to be finding consistency in the strike zone.
Right. So again, generalization, 16, 19, 18, 20 for that particular player. Okay. But we do have the cheater version.
We do.
We do. We have the 104.
Yes.
We do have a 100. There's a 100 light too. So if you're not the playa that we're talking about, there are options in this blade line. It's still very controlled, and you do have to use your own power, but not as much as, let's say, one of these 98s. Okay? So I see a lot of women using that 104. I see a lot of both men and women using this 100. So they do have rackets that will give you a little help, let's say.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Moving on up. Okay. Now, guess what the next one is? Can we guess? Coach Rob, can we guess?
I believe it's the Clash.
Yes, sir. Clash 100. So this series, when you do the RA on this is softer than anything else. When you look at the thickness, it is thicker, though. So you're going to gain power here. It is a flexible racket, though, but it ain't a playa's racket, because ain't no playas using this on TV or on the college ranks. But you do definitely see this where?
I have a fair amount of 3-5-4-0 players that are looking for something soft that's arm friendly, and they really enjoy it. I haven't had too many people not like it.
Right. So the recreational weekend warrior, possibly league players, people that play casually.
Right. People that come in and say, hey, give me the greatest and latest, and
that's usually it.
You go here.
Or oh, my arm hurts, but I still want to play.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Go with the Clash. There are different variations of this. This 100 that Coach Rob is holding is the number one seller.
Then we have the Pro.
We have the Pro, which is heavier, which I used to use in the old color. And then we got a 108 for that person who wants a bigger head, which is also a little lighter. There is a 100 light, and there is a 100 ultra light. So that is the whole line of the Clashes. Okay, it's probably still their top selling racket out of all. That 100 is their top selling racket. All right, so if your arm hurts, you weekend warrior, you want something unique, that's the most unique racket you're gonna get of all the rackets right now. Now, what's the next one you think?
I think we're going Ultra.
We're not quite going Ultra yet.
Not Ultra yet?
Because something actually snuck in.
Sorry, Wilson.
We shifted and snuck in the shift in here. So we tried this racket, right?
We did.
Okay. What would you deem this racket as?
Well, when we tried it, it was like 25 degrees out. I could barely feel my hands or anything. I couldn't feel the ball. But it was nice once I could warm my hands up, and it felt good. I liked the swing weight of it, and it it hit the ball well.
Right.
This time we use it again when we could play and feel things.
I think they should have called this the bridge.
Okay.
Do you want to ask me why I think we should call it the bridge?
Sure. Why would you call it the bridge?
I feel like it's the bridge between Clash and Ultra.
Okay.
Because it bridges your way into stiffness from a Clash to an Ultra. Because it's got the stiffness this way of, let's say, an Ultra, and then the stiffness this way of a Clash.
Okay.
So it's kind of a hybrid in itself of a racket. There aren't many of these out right now, but this is kind of the I guess the bridge between rackets right now. Final Cosmetic will be out later this year. This is not Final Cosmetic. If you like this racket, it is a good alternative if you're not a Clash lover or you hate that color and you don't quite love the Ultra. So this is your gap or bridge in between, okay? Especially if you want a white racket. I think everybody loved the heavy one. The light one is a little,
Right.
Okay. Now what's next, Coach Rob?
Ultra.
Ultra. We got 108 here. We got 100L here. Number one seller, 100 here. So traditional, stiffer racket. That 100, like I said, number one seller. I do sell a lot of 108s, though, to that person who's gotten a little older, wants a little stiffer racket, bigger sweet spot, more power. Definitely good option, but very traditional in how these feel. Who do you see playing with these?
I don't have anybody that I know using the 108, but I do have probably 5 or 6 3035 guys using the 100, the older Ultra version.
Got it. Any lights?
I think I've got maybe 1 or 2 sort of
Probably
transitional
13-year-olds, 14-year-olds.
Yeah, even like a 12-year-old who's kind of a bigger.
Right. And then there's an ultra light too for that 12-year-old.
Right.
Yeah. So moving up in power, not too much power. RA comes in at under 70 still. Okay. On the ultra line. I love that blue color that they did.
Right.
It's way better than that silver that was out. Okay, what's next? What are we thinking?
Well,
are we burning?
Let's go burning.
It's burning. All right. So burn is next. This not only is the price point racket for them, it is a very stiff racket for being 100 square inches. So my man Dan, who ran some numbers, said the stiffness on these, according to our machine, was over 70, or right in that 70 realm, and over 70 in that or in that 70 realm. So we got stiff on both sides, and that's probably why I like it. We got the traditional 100 that's back in the line. We missed that racket back in Gen 3. I used to play with these.
Oh, didn't know that.
Back in Gen 1 and 2.
Okay.
I love the orange color, and I'm glad they actually brought back out in the burnt orange here.
Right.
You got your S pattern. It is the only racket in the line that still comes in S patterns. We got the 100S and the 100LS,
Right.
and we have the 100 ULS,
Gotcha.
ultra light spin.
Right.
So if you still want S patterns and you want a lot of spin, burn is the way to go. Do you have any people using these burns?
I have one guy really enjoyed the old burn. He then wore it down, which went to the Ultra, never really loved the Ultra. And then just today, he got out and hit with the new one, hit for an hour before it rained, and then he liked it.
Okay.
So
we might have a potential new 100 user.
Right. And I did notice, if any of you guys are stringers, it has a shared hole here.
Oh, yeah.
So don't forget that.
Yeah, don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up is what I'm saying.
I think when they actually screwed this, I mean, I don't want to say screwed this up, but they actually made you think about how to string this racket from the start in Gen 1, because the last 2 strings were shared holes.
Right.
We got Lenny here.
We love Lenny.
So Lenny strung it without the 2 because he didn't even think. It didn't cross his mind that he was supposed to share the bottom 2. So literally the crosses ended right there for him.
And there was a big gap.
There was a huge gap there. And he didn't think anything of it. He'd been stringing for 20-some years. Didn't think anything of it. I showed my rep. I was like, does this look right? He's like, he had a lot of expletives that day.
Okay. Sorry, Lenny.
All right. Let's see if Lenny listens. Okay. All right. We are pretty much done with the stuff on the wall. So let's bring in the triads.
Yes.
We got the 5.
The 5.
And we got the 3. So these are thick.
Right.
You like it thick? It's all right, Coach Rob.
Got me on
We don't
that
have
one.
to share. So, Triad 5. This is literally over 20-year-old technology.
Right. It's got the all-court player.
Right. It's great for the arm because of the pads that connect the rackets here and make it actually, when you throw this on a stiffness machine, it comes out 20-something because it literally bends right here. Like because of these pads, it bends right here.
Okay.
So it comes up as very flexible.
Right.
But because of this, the thickness, and when you hit it, it doesn't press as much as the machine. Therefore, it stiffens up the frame. Therefore, it's arm friendly, pretty powerful, and I deem it as stiff. So you got the smaller one there.
Right.
What head size we got there?
This
it's on the back.
We are 103.
103. Okay. And I got the 113. This is probably the biggest racket in the Wilson line right now. I'm not 100% sure if they're producing the 1 still, which is 115 square inches, which is the white racket. They come and go with that one, and that would be the stiffest racket in the line if produced. If not, this Triad 3 is the one, the most powerful racket in the current Wilson line. All right, so a little more control there, a little more power there, both on the higher end of the power scale.
Right.
Coach Rob, anything to add?
I know back in the day we had a lot of players like the 5, those older versions, maybe 15 years ago.
Right.
Because they had shorter swings, but they still could hit it, and this thing was giving them some extra power. And
yeah.
I know I had some older players sort of enjoying the 3 where they were getting a little more power out of it. And then there's obviously the 1 where
You said all-court player. Right. Remember when they had the 3 guys with the 3 swings back here?
And that's kind of what we were talking about at the very beginning about the pro staff with the full swing. It had the guy going, it's not on there, but that's sort of showing you the swing for
your type of swing for this type of racket.
Right. This racket is this for this type of swing.
Right. Yep. So shorter swing for this. Obviously, this is like the big loop,
full swing.
The full swing. And then a lot of these ones are kind of in between the 2, like in the middle of the 2.
Right.
Right. I wish they would bring that back, actually.
Yeah.
So, but I was looking for that here, but it's not, I miss the golden oldies of Wilson, but I feel like these rackets we're in the golden years of Wilson, I think. They're doing great. And with the new shift coming out and the new RF, well, we got things to look forward to with Wilson. Coach Rob, thanks for spending a little time with me going over the Wilson line.
Sure.
All right. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Yo, where are you? It's wet. What are you talking about? It's wet. It's barely wet out here. It's rain? What? It's not even raining. Come on, man. Let's get some tennis in, dude. All right. Fine. Jesus, it's not even raining. Okay. All right. We'll try again another day. Do you want a partner who's reliable, who'll play with you no matter what condition? Player Court is the place. They got over 27,000 people who will play with you. Check out playyourcourt.com/tennis spin and find your perfect partner.